Recording started.
Today we're starting to talk about the ellipse. And the ellipse is kind of a stretched out circle. So let me draw you a drawing. Now keep in mind, my drawings are not fabulous. But here we go. Here's my version of the ellipse. Let's just label some key points here. First key point is you have the long axis. This long axis is called the major axis. You also have the shorter axis, which is called the minor axis. Okay, you'll also have the center. That's no big deal. Some other things that you will have where the ellipse itself hits the ends of the major axis. The major axis. These are both called vertices. Each one is called a vertex. So this guy right here and this guy right here are called the vertices. You also have two that are called foci. The two foci are also on the major axis. In between the center and the vertices. Okay. Just some of the key points on the ellipse. Let's talk about an equation now. All right, here's my equation. My equation says x minus a squared over a squared plus y minus a squared over b squared equals 1. Okay, the center is going to be this hk. The foci are h plus ck and h minus ck, and the vertices are h plus ak and h minus ak. But here's the deal. A is going to be the largest of the two numbers, and this relationship always holds. C squared equals a squared plus b squared. And when you're thinking of all those numbers, if I just drew out an ellipse, really ugly ellipse, and here's the major axis, here's the minor axis, here's the center. The A distance, that's the distance from the center out to the vertex. That's the distance A. The C distance is the distance from the center out to the foci. And if you want to think of it as B is the distance from the center up to the end of the minor axis. That's going to be B value. Okay? Now let's work a problem. So here we go. We've got an ellipse, and we want to find the center, the vertices, and the foci. So let's just identify some numbers here. So a squared is a 9, which means a is going to be a 3. B squared is a 4, which means B is going to be a 2. Remember this relationship, C squared equals A squared minus B squared. C squared is equal to 9 minus 4, which is just a 5. The C will always be positive, so we'll just say C is the square root of 5. Since there's no numbers added on to the x and the y, we know that those, the h and k, the center, is going to be at 0, 0. So we know that's 0, 0. So let's find the other stuff, the vertices and the foci. So if we said the center was at 0, 0, Well, the foci are, there's going to be two of them again. One of them is going to be at 0 plus the square root of 5, comma 0, which of course is just the square root of 5, comma 0. The other one's going to be at 0 minus the square root of 5, comma 0, which will be negative square root of 5, comma 0. The vertices will be at 0 plus 3, comma 0, so 3, 0, and at 0 minus 3, comma 0, which is negative 3, 0. Okay, so there's the center, foci, and vertices. Now that's all good if your ellipse has the major axis that's horizontal. But if your major axis is vertical, in which case, change colors here, in which case the ellipse is more up and down than right to left, so the major axis is vertical, your equation looks a little bit different. It looks like this. The only difference, keep in mind, the only difference between the two is that the B and the A have changed position. If the larger number is under the y squared, the major axis will be vertical, so it will go up and down. If the larger number is under the x, it will go side to side. So here's the foci and the vertices. Let's work an example. So here we go. We've got the same thing. We need to find the center, vertices, and foci. Now keep in mind the larger number is under the y squared, so it's going to go up and down. But I'm going to do essentially the same thing. I'm going to identify all my numbers. So let's see. A squared is 25, which means A will be a 5. B squared equals 16, so B will be a 4. C squared is always equal to A squared minus B squared. So C squared is equal to 25 minus 16. So C squared equals, what does C squared equal? 9. So that means C will be a 3. Okay. Now remember, we've got the center here, but the only way to get a positive would be to say minus a minus 3. So I think our center is going to be at negative 3, comma 2. So let's write all this stuff out. So the center of our ellipse is at negative 3, comma 2. Now remember, this one goes up and down. So the foci are at negative 3, comma 2 plus our A value. I'm sorry, center, the 2 plus our C value, and C was a 3. The 2 plus 3, and negative 3, comma 2 minus 3. So what do we have? We have foci at negative 3, comma 5, and at negative 3, comma negative 1. Those are our foci. Our vertices are going to be at negative 3, comma 2 plus the A value, which was 5, and negative 3, comma 2 minus the A value, which was, of course, 5 again. So let's see, what do we have? We'll have negative 3, comma 7, and negative 3, comma negative 3. Those are going to be our vertices. And that's how we identify the parts of an ellipse.